Hello, welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to my painting live stream, Slay the Gray Hobby Hangout, whatever you want to call it. My name's Sam, and this is Big Nerds Wargaming. Today, I'm painting some 3D printed Inquisitorial agents. These are like the Inquisitor's henchmen, and yeah, so these are pretty cool. These are designed by a creator called Station Forge. I may have seen some of their popular Deathcore of Krieg proxies that they make, but they also make a bunch of other good ones too. A lot of Imperium kind of stuff, and I really like the way their agents looked for the Inquisitor, so I printed up some of them, and I'm working on a boarding patrol of Imperial agents. And then I will also be finishing up the Kyria Draxus model that I started painting way back in September, early September, before I took a little hiatus from the live streams here on YouTube, but I'm going to be starting that back up again. So, plan is to do that every week on Tuesday, and new video hopefully every week or every other week on the channel. Oh hey, I didn't realize you were Sam, the Crusade GM. Hello. Yes, that's me. You found my YouTube channel. Not giving my name. Have no idea who this is. I'm gonna guess Ian. Is it an Ian? One of the 6 Ians that we have in our group. It's one of us. I am the new Ian. Alright. Well, cool. Thanks for hopping on. That's fun. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of a... I had a nice momentum going for a while, but, yeah, took a hiatus from the streaming, so gotta get that engine back up and running again. But I figured I'd start with finishing Kyria Draxus. This has just been sitting on my desk for far too long. So I think I'll start with working on maybe the gun. We'll do the gun. You're gonna be here since I'm also painting. I am finishing up my Infernus Marines, then my Crusade army is all battle ready. Ooh, awesome. That means you get a 3 XP bonus per our special homegrown rules. Okay, I'm gonna do Administratum Gray, I think, and work my way up. Ulthran Gray on the gun. Love the XP bonus rule. Yeah, I figured a lot of people don't play with painted stuff, so it's nice to have a little incentive to kind of encourage people to paint more. I have a personal rule where I don't play if it's not finished or painted. That helps me finish my own stuff, but can't really apply that same standard to other people. It's not really fair, but it helps me get my stuff done, that's for sure. Especially if we have a game coming up and I want to use something, I'm kind of incentivized to finish it up so I can use it. Alright, so Administratum Gray, thin with a little bit of water. I try to be battle ready before I play. And that's a good rule to live by. It keeps you honest. Just gonna get the base colors for this gun blocked in, and we'll do some shading and highlights. There's not a whole lot left I need to paint on her. I kind of did the majority of it already in an earlier stream. So I'm hoping to get her finished up and maybe paint one of these henchmen. Which I'm a huge fan of, by the way. Like, check out the quality on this is a third-party miniature. They just did an excellent job capturing the grim dark aesthetic, and I mean, these look like perfectly fine inquisitorial agents to me. Like, this is a gun servitor. Kind of gave him some pale green skin. Yeah, so if you 3D print, I definitely check out Station Forge. They have some really good proxies. Like, I think their Deathcore proxies are pretty much on par with the Games Workshop Death Corps of Krieg. So I have a custom librarian that looks like Darth Vader. I believe it's from them. Oh, nice. Yeah, we have the Eisenhorn, not Eisenhorn. So I'm gonna call him Georgie Eisenstein. Yeah, they've been doing like a lot of kill team kits or sets with their stuff. So there's like the Euclidean Star Striders for the Rogue Trader group entourage, and then there's the agents. They have some RBDs, which I've been using. They're RBDs models. Actually, my whole boarding patrol for agents is completely 3D printed by them. Not a single Games Workshop miniature in there. So, you've come a long way. I'm always really picky with 3D printed models too. Like, it's got to match the aesthetic. It's got to have the right vibe. Alright, so got the gray on the gun. I'm going to do bronze. Base coat of bronze, and then maybe... Or maybe I'll do, no, Balthazar gold. I like that one. And then we'll work up to warp lock for some highlights. Gonna jump down to a smaller brush. Just Army Painter standard brush. Let's get some smaller details here. Got too much stuff in the background. Camera's focusing on the wrong thing. There you go. Got a vortex mixer. Right here, which is really making the paint shaking a heck of a lot easier. I should have bought one of those way sooner than I did. And I got the little Army Painter mixing balls in all my paint pots. So that combined with the vortex mixer, good combo. Alright, so I'm going to just get some Balthazar gold on my palette. So I'll be working with that color. A couple areas. I'm also going to get some Runelord brass. 4 gold colors. Alright. Runelord brass is next on the palette. Okay. So I'm going to take the Balthazar gold and get the metal parts on the gun. This shuriken rifle. As well as some like belts and buckles on her body. There's a couple insignias as well. And if anyone's curious on how I painted it this far, I have the previous stream up on the channel under the live stream, so you can go back and see that if you're curious. That was maybe a month ago, maybe 2 months ago, month and a half ago. I don't know. Time is blurring. It's been a while since I've been streaming though. It does feel good to be back. Balthazar gold. And I got get that on the belt buckle here. It's like a little skull insignia. As well as the Inquisition eye on her shoulder guard here. Just get a little touch of color there. And then this hand grenade. Get the clip and the little skull insignia there. These character models have so much detail. And then we also have these little like vents on her leg. I think I'm gonna paint those metallic as well, just to add a little bit of more interest. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. We have another Inquisition eye symbol hanging from her belt under the gun. Kind of hard to see. I almost didn't see it until just now. I can quickly paint that as well. Alright, moving to the power pack in back. I'm gonna go to Runelord brass. We're gonna paint these spikes Runelord brass on her power pack. As well as the vents in the power pack. And then there's like these little metal bits here. Just gonna do a little kind of like an edge highlight with the Runelord brass to add some metallic color in there, get a little bit more interest. Alright, we're looking good. I just ordered some custom water slide decals for my Marines. Soon I can begin to dirty them all up with streak and grime. Ooh. Yeah, I was gonna say, your paint scheme is very vibrant and bright. So darkening them up with some grime, that'll look really nice. Kind of like the Grimdark style, right? Yeah, I can't wait to see those. It's gonna look awesome. Okay. I'm gonna paint this cable on the backpack. There's two cables. One of them I'm gonna paint black with yellow hazard stripes. And then there's also one going to a power glove gauntlet. And we're gonna do the same there. Just gonna get a nice solid black on there to clean up any previous mistakes. I also got some spots on the back here I need to touch up. Of course, I'm just gonna paint those just black. Okay. We have a little seal and some scroll work. So for that, I'm gonna do Ushadi Bone as the base coat. Sup, Sam? Hello, Whopper. I'm painting some Warhammer. Go figure. I know it's not as exciting as Avery streams. I don't swear as much though, so there's that. It's very chill. Yeah, just kind of paint some Warhammer and talk through what I'm doing as I'm doing it. Sometimes I push myself extra hard because I have an audience. Kind of helps keep me motivated. So paint the parchment work. This shuriken cannon. And then the seal, I like to do in Screamer Pink. David! Hello. Yes, I'm back. Welcome back. Been taking a hiatus from the painting on stream, at least. I've been doing a lot of painting off stream. But yeah, I took a whole YouTube hiatus in September, and then this past month I've been trying to get the videos rolling again, and now I think it's time to start the live streams again. Mr. Buddy, hope all is well. Yep, all is well. I'm doing great. Yeah, just taking a little break in September. Nothing serious going on. Just you know, some time away from YouTube. But it is good to be back. I have so many models that need paint. And it's fun chatting with everybody. Oh, I'm trying to think. What's the biggest Warhammer news that happened since I was not streaming? Maybe Space Marine 2 came out, but I think I may have been playing that when that came out, or painting when that came out. I guess there's the balance or the point update, but you know it's not super exciting. Oh, Kill Team, the new edition of Kill Team came out. That looks interesting. I have not played it. Okay, so the wives have lost their mind currently. So this got a calming effect for me. What, do they not think it's calming? They don't get it, I guess. Women. No, they're playing Pal World and doing stupid things. Pal World. It's a fun game, I guess. Alright, so for seals, I like to paint them Screamer Pink, and then I shade them with Cairborn Crimson shade. It's a nice red crimson shade. Oh, that may just be a hair too much. There we go. Never heard of Pal World. It's one of those survival crafting games. It's a PC game. It's kind of like a Pokemon ripoff. So you kind of run around and what are we painting? Looks like an Eldar gun. Yes, this is Inquisitor Kyria Draxus. Apparently she's a member of the Ordo Xenos. Has special privileges to use a shuriken rifle. And yeah, she's an Inquisitor. I'm working on an Inquisition agents, Imperial agents, boarding patrol. A lot of it I'm using as some 3D printed proxies. So this is like an Eisenhorn proxy. So he's we'll call him George Eisenstein. He's gonna be my Inquisitor. These are all made by Station Forge, except for the one I'm painting now. She is a Games Workshop model. But yeah, they have a lot of really good proxies, the Station Forge creators. So I've been 3D printing a lot of those, and I'm making an entire boarding patrol of 3D printed models. And I just happen to have this Inquisitor model lying around, so I thought I'd paint her up too. So for parchment, I like to do Ushadi Bone or Wraith Bone as a base coat, and then I do some Seraphim Sepia over the paper. Gives it a nice papery look for initial wash. And then I'll go and do some text on there. Maybe some highlights after that. We'll see how it looks. There's a spot on the gun where I want to do some more Balthazar gold, so I'll quickly do that. Then we'll look into giving that gun a nice little shade. Give it some more visual interest, richen up the color. And I think Reichland Flesh Shade is a perfect color for that. Do you stream your campaigns on the big table or not really? Kind of. I do battle reports, they're called. So we'll have games or a narrative series of games, and I'll play the game and I'll kind of edit it down, show it play by play on the table, and you can see people's armies that they bring and showcase different armies. It's pretty fun. And I do other painting tutorials, and I also do some like terrain crafting kind of stuff, which I have a project I'm going to be starting on soon, terrain related, which will be pretty fun. Looking forward to doing that. So I'm just going to do Reichland Flesh Shade over all of these Balthazar gold. When painting with metallics, I always try to give them a shade of sorts. Just makes them look a little bit more natural and metal, and just kind of have a richer overall tone to them. So we can get that Inquisition eye symbol and the hand grenade. But yeah, I'm excited. The Imperial Agents Codex that came out, you can use Sisters of Battle Squad. So, kind of gives me an excuse to paint up my my squad of sisters that I have. So, I don't know, maybe David, one of these streams you'll see me painting Adeptus Sororitas finally. They're just sitting on the shelf. Alright, so we're going to let that shade dry. I'm going to go and do some highlights on the teeth on the skull. For that, we're going to do, I think, Steel Legion Drab. Nice darker brown. And I'll be using my favorite standard size brush by Reaper Miniatures, size 0. I gotta get another one of these. This one's starting to show its age. These are great brushes. They keep the tip really nicely. Good size. Just gonna come in here and do a little bit of highlights on the teeth here. Start building up some of those highlights that really make this start to pop. Just real subtle. So I still want this to read to the eye as like a dark gray brown color. So I don't go too light on the highlights. So build up a little bit there. And then I think Karak Stone. It's about as light as I want to go on the teeth. So I'm going to do just a little bit of that. Get some Karak Stone on my palette. Actually, I think maybe mixing in a little bit of maybe just a little bit of RX white to lighten it up just a hair. That's good. It's kind of like a grayish Wraithbone. And I'm going to go to a smaller size brush for this too. Get a little bit more control over the highlight. Just using a cheapo Amazon special miniature brush. Just going to do a little bit on the teeth. Just enough to make them pop. Catch the eye. There we go. I think the teeth are done. I get this to focus. There we go. Okay, so for the gun itself, we're going to shade that with some Nuln Oil. I'm going to grab the new formula because it doesn't tint as much. I'm going to water it down about 1:1. Get some water on my brush, mix it in with the Nuln Oil on my palette. And we're going to shade the body on the gun. I think I need just a little bit more Nuln Oil in there. So I'll try a 2:1 ratio of Nuln Oil to water. It's a bit better. I'm going to move this around so it doesn't pool. Just want to add some definition, especially around these Eldar bumps they have on all their guns. While I have this out, I'm going to also shade just along this line on this gear that's sticking out, just to darken that up a little bit more on the shuriken rifle. There we go. We'll let that dry, and I'll come back for some edge highlights there. Come back to some details on her belt. And for that, I'm going to go in with Runelord Brass. I'm just going to hit that skull. Lighten that up a little bit. And then on the Inquisition eye on her shoulder guard, gonna come in with some Runelord Brass. And on this other hand grenade, it's looking good. On the back of the pack, I'm gonna come in with that Nuln Oil mixture. Just darken up here a little bit in the vents. This one spot, I don't really like the way it looks, so I'm gonna come in there with some black, Abaddon black. Just kind of clean that up a little bit. Okay, that looks much better. Yeah, 1-to-1 was a lot weaker than I thought for that mixture. But it's always better to start weaker and work your way up. You can always do another coat or another wash. Let's see here. The dragon wings. I think I'm okay with the dragon wings. A little dragon. Oh, I was gonna do hazard stripes. So, whoops. Gonna use Uriel yellow for that. I'm sorry, not Uriel yellow. Everland sunset. Although Uriel yellow might be a better choice. I don't know. Uriel yellow is kind of hard to work with, especially over black. Maybe I'll come back in for a second pass with that. We'll see how the Everland sunset looks for the hazard stripes on the wires, because this one covers really nicely for it being a yellow paint. Different paints behave differently. This one's got a nice strong pigment, which I like to use. But it is a little bit of a darker tone as far as yellow goes. Alright, so on the power pack, I'm going to do some stripes on this cable. Going about a brush width apart on the stripes. That's looking pretty good. I don't even have to get the other side because you can't see it. And similarly on this cable. I love the black and yellow hazard stripes. It's such a neat look. I'm going to try to see where I have them on this side and continue the pattern. It's a little tricky though. While also trying to hold the model in a way that y'all can see. I played with my streaming setup so much to find something that is both comfortable for me and also provides a good angle for, you know, you the viewers. And I think what I have currently is probably as good as it's going to get. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that. I think that looks great. Yeah, Everland will make a good base for the Uriel. And I think I will do just that. I'm gonna bring in some Uriel. Gotta lighten that up a bit. So when I'm painting character models, I tend to go the extra mile with them versus if I'm painting infantry or other kind of normal chaff units or even elites. So I'm definitely not going to the standard on the rest of my agents. I would never finish. It's all about finding the right balance between level of, I guess, what am I trying to say? Level of detail and getting models painted so you can actually use them. Alright, so coming back around for another pass, we're just gonna get a little bit of Uriel yellow in those stripes. Just to lighten it up a little bit. And I don't have to cover the whole stripe. Just enough to make that yellow pop just a little bit more. There you go. Does it look good from 3 feet away? Yes. That's the other good rule of thumb. Does it look good from 3 feet away? Also, don't compare yourself to people on the internet. Everyone's at their own level, and it's a journey. You're not going to be an amazing painter when you start. Everyone's constantly learning, myself included. I think I'm an alright painter, but I'm definitely not an expert. Alright, so for script, I like to get some really watered down black and just kind of squiggle the brush on some lines on the paper. So it reads as text. And the more watered down the black, the better. More control you'll have for these fine little lines. Alright, that's a bit much. I'm going to take some Ushadi bone, water it down. I'm just going to kind of glaze over the text a little bit. Just to kind of bring it back. And I might go over that again with Seraphim Sepia. Hello, Aries. Sam, you're an excellent painter. Thank you. I do appreciate that. We're gonna do a highlight with Oathland Gray. One of my friends got a 3D printer and he's been printing Warhammer stuff. Oh, very cool. There's a lot out there. I've been printing some Inquisitorial Agent Henchmen. These are designed by Station Forge. They make excellent proxies to capture the grim, dark aesthetic. I'm a huge fan. But this is the Games Workshop model I'm painting right now. The Inquisitor Draxus. Kira Draxus. Gonna get some Ulthran Gray to highlight that Shuriken rifle. Yeah, I recently upgraded my 3D printer. I got the Anycubic Mono M5S specifically so I can print terrain at a higher level of detail, and it prints really fast. So far, I've been really enjoying it. I've been also using it for miniatures too. Alright, we're going to come in with the edge of the brush and do an edge highlight on the rifle here. The Orc Minis aren't printing great, but the Rhino looks really good. Is it a resin printer or an FDM printer? I know I can get it can take a little while to kind of figure out what you're doing with the printer. And get it printing it the way that you want. Highlight came on a little too thick. I'm not very happy about that. Maybe we can clean it up with some gray. I'll come back in with some known oil and clean that up. Not 100% sure what printer it is. Synaptic alloy I'm going to use next to highlight the gun. And then I think I just got to paint her face. And I think she'll be done. I don't know how much more I need to do on this. Oh, Bamboo Labs P1S. Those are really cool. Yeah, I wouldn't use them for printing miniatures. Is this an FDM printer? Although, with the P1S, you can put the 1mm nozzle on there. And I know that the Bamboo, they make them really user-friendly. Like, you can just swap out the nozzles really easily. I want to get one of those. I think the next printer I buy is going to be a Bamboo Lab FDM printer. It'll upgrade the current one I have. And I'll just get some really nice-looking plastic terrain and things like that. But as far as miniatures go, I'd use resin because you can't beat that quality. Like, you know, this is a resin model right here. Detail is just really good. You can't see the layer lines. You can in some areas, but I can't see any layer lines on this model. And that you can have some control over too, depending on what resolution you print at, and that your layer height and other parameters like that. Yeah, I'm gonna get some Canaptic alloy on my palette next for some highlights on the metallics on the gun. What happened to the vortex mixer? Oh, it's still over here. It's starting to make a squeaky sound. I may have to, hopefully it won't die on me, but, yeah, I was just giving that one a manual shake. But it's still here. I still use it. Alright, so we're going to come in and do some highlights on the gun. Make those metallic details pop. Just a little bit on the rail of the gun. And then we'll get just a little bit on the skull here. And the grenade. I think that's good. I don't want to overdo it. In fact, I might even dial this one back a little bit. Mix in some Balthazar gold. Just to kind of mute that a little bit up there. Okay, that looks good. Oh, I was gonna do another highlight on the other cable. That's what I was gonna do. I'm gonna use Dawnstone for that. Yeah, I still have the vortex mixer. It's going. Alright, for this, I'm just going to use standard size brush. Get a little bit on my palette. Almost going to dry brush. Just kind of get a lot of it off my brush. And we're going to brush perpendicular to the way that the ridges on the hose go. There we go. Really subtle. Absolutely super subtle. Not necessary, but I wanted to do it. Now, let's do the face. So I want her skin to be kind of light colored. I think we'll do... just thinking here. I think Cadian flesh tone. Or, let's do a 50-50. Where's Kislev lighter than Cadian? It is. Let's do... I'm gonna get some flesh tones on my palette and do a little bit of mixing. We'll get this face painted up. She's also got some earrings, it looks like. And like an Aquila imprinted on her forehead. That's interesting. Kislev and Pallid Witch Flesh. Yep, that's what I was thinking too, like a 50-50 mix of that. And then kind of like do a shade with Cadian. Then add some more Pallid Witch Flesh to highlight it up. Uh-oh, we lost Sam. Oh, do we have an ad running? Alright, so gonna do Kislev Flesh. Avery told me to tell you she's playing Phasmo, so if you hear her screaming, she's fine. Okay. My wife is playing a scary video game. And I can hear her screaming from the second floor all the way in the basement. It's crazy. Alright, we're gonna mix some Pallid Witch Flesh and Kislev Flesh. About 50-50. I'm just the messenger. Very well. Alright, so Kislev Flesh mixed with Pallid Witch Flesh, 50-50 mixture. Really watered down. We're going to start layering this on the skin. This is going to take a few coats. She's a bald lady. So you know she means business. Alright, and we let this coat dry. While that dries, I'm back. What, did you see an ad? Did an ad run, David? I think I turned on ads, so I may go out periodically. But if it's too disruptive, I can turn them off for the painting streams. I don't want them to be annoying. Gonna paint her collar black. Match your armor once we put the head in. Alright, looks like that first coat of the skin is dried already. So we're going to go in for coat number 2. No, just a black screen with no sound. Huh, interesting. Did anyone else experience the stream drop out like that? I didn't get any indication on my end that there's been an issue. But yeah, we'll be on the lookout for that. Thanks for the heads up. I'm not sure what that was about. Or maybe it could have also been maybe a connection issue on your end. Who knows? Yeah, but this is going to take a few thin coats to get a consistent coverage on her face. And I don't want to go on too thick. Chat's still working. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know either. But we're back, so it's working now. And we'll let this dry a spell. We look back at this. Is there anything I want to do on the body? No, I think I'm happy with the way everything looks there. Faces are tricky sometimes. Alright, we're going to go in for another coat. Just want a nice, even finish of that initial base mixture. Then we'll start shading and layering and highlighting. I have kind of a recipe I like to do for skin, but I vary it a little bit. But it's usually getting a consistent smooth base coat down of like the main tone that you want, you know, light skin tone, dark tone, mid tone, and then you kind of do a shade with another paint color. In this case, I'm doing Cadian Flesh Tone for the shade color, and then kind of work in your base coat mixture and do some highlights and bring it back. If I could keep this in focus, that would be great. There. We're gonna use some Lamian Medium. To mix in with the Cadian Flesh Tone to create a wash. And I'm just going to start kind of glazing this on. And we're starting to give her face some color. She's starting to look alive. especially kind of like in her, by her eyes, under the nose. She has pronounced cheekbones, so I want to get under the cheeks and around the ears. Anywhere where it's going to be, darker on the face. I think we could even go a little bit more dark. I'm gonna grab some Bugman's Glow. Mix that in. Look what we got so far. Gonna get some Bugman's. It's a very dark, fleshy tone. We mix that in with some Lamian Medium. Arcadian wash mixture. A little bit of water. It's always tricky getting the right consistency here, but we'll do a little test back here. I think I like that. That's good. Really get that kind of warm pink hue to her skin. And we'll go build up from there. So I'm just gonna go all around her face with this mixture. Then we'll build up. And for that, I'm going to grab a smaller brush. Let's see here. I have a size 3. It's a bit too small. Size 1. I think that'll work. Alright. So his face is drying still. Once it dries, I'm going to start to layer in some other skin tones and lighten it up. I'm going to grab the hair dryer and speed this up. Okay, skin is dry, and we are going to layer in some lighter colors here. I'm going to go back to that Pallid Witch Flesh, Kislev Flesh mixture, our base skin tone. And I'm just going to pick out a couple areas here, so like the cheeks, her chin, as well as her nose, brow line, building up the highlight here. And then we're going to get the top of her forehead. Keep that Aquila imprint, the darker skin tone. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm trying to keep this in focus, and it keeps going out of focus probably when I start painting, right? But just trying to keep this real thin here so that it blends in nicely and layers well. Get the top of her dome here. Keeping the consistency really thin, it kind of just layers on very subtly. Go over multiple passes, build up the color. I like that. It's looking good. She's got some metal on her face. We're gonna go over that with Ringlord Brass, I think. This little like implant thing. And she's got like some earrings. Get those with Ringlord Brass as well. I don't want those to be like the focal point. So just something really subtle that'll kind of blend with their skin tone a little bit, but also still look metallic. Alright, now I'm going to take some Pallid Witch Flesh and introduce that to our previous mixture and lighten it up a little bit more. And we will repeat the process. Some more water on here. Alright, so very carefully, just going out over like a couple areas, maybe not everywhere now, but like the brow line, the nose, the cheeks, a little bit on the chin, ears. Some water in here, do a glaze over the top of her head. Still strong, but we'll see how it looks when it dries. Using Citadel paints for base, Lil Bro. Mr. Bigner's Wargaming. I'm using, yes, Citadel paints. Mostly Citadel paints. So here's the face. Let's get the eyes. So Ulthran Gray, we'll use that for the eye. This is where faces are made or broken. One eye. Two eyes. Now I'm going to come in and do the pupil. Once again, very thin down Abaddon black for this. Very thin. I just want an ever so subtle dot. She's she kind of looks like she's rolling her eyes. She's like, I think it's funny though. I'm gonna keep it. Add a little bit of color to her lips. And I think that looks good. This glaze is still drying, isn't it? Not sure how that looks yet. So what I'm gonna do is hair dry this. Alright, here's what we got with the hair dryer. It looks okay. I think I want to touch this up a little bit. Gonna kind of glaze back in previous mixture that like Cadian flesh tone. A little bit just to dial it back. The top of her head. There. I think that's a bit better. I'm happy with this. Let's reattach that head. And finish up the base, and then this model will be done. So I'm going to pop this off. And I think some super glue is all I really need. Just a little drop. Just a drop. That was a drop. And then some. Might get some clouding. The tricky part is fixing the head in place. There we go. Kira Draxus, Inquisitor. Not too shabby. I'm happy with it. gonna paint up the base rim, and then she'll be done. The base rim is just gonna get Abaddon black. Yeah, her face is a little tricky. A little bit of back and forth there, trial and error. Looks great, Sam, as always. Thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way she turned out. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I have been looking at Citadel Heavy Metal as a reference. Trying to kind of imitate what I see. Obviously, their blends and highlights are going to be even more perfect. But I think I did a pretty decent imitation. Oh, I see they got some like green blending on the dragon. I bet you I have just the paint for that. Just the paint for that Poxwalker shade. I'm going to do some Poxwalker shade on the dragon's wing. I'm excited. I don't get to use this paint that much. Unfortunately, it separates a lot, so I'm gonna give it a good shake. A good spin on the vortex. But this is a nice shade. It's like a greenish blue color. It's what I used on my gun servitor skin. Kind of give him that like, look at me, look at me. There we go. Kind of give him that like sickly skin fleshy tone. It's like Poxwalker over Rakarth flesh. Gets the job done. Alright, this is just about mixed up here. We're going to do that one last blending on the dragon wings. And then we'll be done. I swear. I get carried away sometimes, though. So we're going to use some Poxwalker. On these inner bits on the wings. To kind of tie this all together. Oh yeah, that looks great. It's real subtle. I'm starting at the wing and ending at the base of the wing because where you pick up your brush is where the shade will pool strongest. A little counterintuitive, but that's how you can kind of control some of your blending. There, yeah, I like that. It's gonna look real nice. Poxwalker shade. Always look for an excuse to use that. Alright, now she is done. Kiradraxis. And what time is it? 8:22? I think I can knock out one of these henchmen while I'm at it. Let's see here. We have a psyker. I kind of want to give this person a purple robe But I also want it to match the like the red and black color scheme of the henchmen, so maybe we'll do a purple outer robe, and then we'll do like the red on the inside. For these, I've just mostly been doing contrast paints. With the zenithal highlight, you get some nice shading built in, and they paint up pretty quickly. And then I just end up doing a couple edge highlights here and there. But the contrast paints really do most of the work. Like especially with these red robes. Like this contrast paint over this kind of similar zenithal highlight, and then I just go in for like a little edge highlight with Wild Rider Red or Evil Sun Scarlet, and pick that out, and it just all comes together. Alright, so this is a new contrast I have not used, Leviathan Purple. So, excuse to use a new paint I bought because I stopped in a Games Workshop store and I had to buy something, right? So I bought a paint. Alright, so it's going to be a nice, deep, rich purple. Very dark. So we'll do the robe. That purple. This is probably what a lot of new people paint their Tyranids with. Leviathan Purple makes sense. Named appropriately. And I'm just using this contrast paint right out of the pot. But often when I use contrast, especially if I'm painting with the slap chop style, I will tone them down with contrast medium. But the colors I've been using for these, I think, are good out of the pot. I'm trying to be careful here not to get areas that I don't want purple, because contrasts are not as forgiving if you color outside the lines. By doing a Zenithal Prime, I get a little bit of that extra pop kind of built in with the shading of the figure itself that the contrast paints kind of amplify. So it's a win-win-win. Yeah, I really like this purple. It's nice. It's a fun excuse to use it more often. This hood up here, it almost looks like armor, so I'm going to actually paint that a metal color. I see. He's wearing like an armored chest piece. Goes around the head too. Alright, so the outer robes are almost all purple. Just gotta get this other sleeve here. Yeah, it's really a magnificent purple. I like that a lot. Alright, so the inner coat we're gonna do in red. I think the purple and the red will blend together nicely. I still want them to look cohesive with the rest of the henchmen. It's kind of hard. They're all wearing their own kind of style and clothing. So, I'm going to pick colors that are similar yet different. So they still look like a cohesive unit when standing together, but individual enough on their own. Alright, the red I've been using is Flesh Tear's Contrast. This is a really good, vibrant, high pigmentation color. Or strong pigmentation, I should say. Just the spot. There we go. Alright. Flesh Tear's red on the inner robe. So you saw me paint something really slowly, and now you're going to see me paint something a bit quicker. The past few days when I sit down to paint, I've been trying to knock out one or two of these guys over like a, 2-hour session. I'm hoping to speed that up a bit here. So for the armor, I'm gonna do maybe a gray, or no, I think that's gonna be metallic actually. Yeah, let's do Balthazar Gold, since I already have that on here. So much of it on my palette, and it's going to go to waste if I don't use it, so get this armor piece in Balthazar Gold. I can do some highlights and stuff. Trying to figure out what colors to do the rest of this. Definitely gonna want some gold, I think, on the staff. Just get some base coats down, and then I'll throw some washes and highlights, and it'll all come together. Alright, and then while that base coat is drying, I am going to start working on the skin. And I think I'm still not sold on contrast paints. They have their uses. I don't like to paint exclusively with them, but like, I mean, look at that. Look at that nice variation in tone we get on there. This is contrast over zenithal, right? And then if I just go in with a little bit of edge highlight on some of these folds, it's going to be beautiful. I'll show you that in a second here. we're gonna give this person a darker skin tone. So for dark-skinned folk, I like to do Ranax hide as a base coat. It's a nice, deep, rich brown with a little bit of warmth to it. And then I mix in Bugman's Glow with that. Or sometimes Doom Bull Brown. Depending on, you know, how dark I want to go with the skin. But we'll do this as a base coat here, and then I will lighten it up in some areas and do some highlights. Go, and then we'll get the hands here. Yeah, but I like contrast paints, especially if I'm like trying to paint something quickly. So I'll often do like slap chop with contrast, and then a couple edge highlights here and there, and it really goes a long way. And it looks really good for how quickly you painted it. So, I mean, they all have their uses. Some contrast paints I also like to use just in my regular, you know, arsenal. Like for the longest time, I would use Basilicanum Gray over metal, which gives it like a nice dirty metal look. However, there's a shade that I started using, Targor Raid shade, which has a similar feel, and I've been using that a lot now too. It's really nice. Let's see here, just drawing some inspiration from my other staff. I do like the turquoise and the gold look, so I'm going to do something similar there. Yeah, so for the turquoise, I used, where is it? Pterodon Turquoise. Another contrast paint. So get some base coats on the staff. I'm going to use my shade brush again for that. Yeah, I think contrast paints, if you paint over a pure white without any zenithal priming, the colors come out looking a little like too vibrant or too like bubblegum like. I don't know, it's hard to describe. They look a little unnatural, I think. So a lot of the contrast colors are very vibrant. Then the other parts of the staff I'm going to do in Runelord Brass. Get up here too. And the rest of the insignia, we're going to do in a gold color. The actual agents models, they have a big inquisitorial eye on the staff for the person with the staff, but can't do that because these are third-party designs, so it'd be too close. So we're gonna do rich gold, acryl, metallics, rich gold. I think I'm more. Hey, how go the meat bags? Hey, Travis. I'm more concerned about the finish. They tend to end up looking like satin gloss finish. A little bit. I mean, if you go over it with a varnish at the end. I mean, yeah, I do prefer the look of traditional paints over contrast, but I don't know. If you use the traditional layer paints with contrast, like use them together, you can get some really good results. And then if you varnish them, it kind of blends the finish together too. Pro acryl for the win. Yes. Yes, welcome Travis. We finished Kira Draxis earlier. You may remember from a previous stream. I finished up her face today, as well as her gun. Little details. I'm pretty happy with the way she turned out. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool model. So she's all wrapped up, ready to hunt the Xenos. I do like Pro Acryl. I don't like their dropper bottles though. I always make a mess of them every time. I actually have more control over the Citadel pots. I know. For how much paint I want. Heresy, I know. I actually like the Citadel pots. Except for when they get clogged. In the cap. So just gonna paint rich gold over this staff until it is nicely fully covered. This is gonna be a 2-coater for sure. That's some heresy in that hand. I do like painting these agents though. They're something different, you know? And each one's a little different too, so that's why I'm painting these one model at a time instead of batch painting them. Because they all have their own different gear and robes and stuff. It's kind of hard to batch paint them. They're all too unique. I meant the catapult, not the paint. The catapult. Inquisitors, Death of the Xenos. Let's all use their cool. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the Shuriken catapult. Right? I was thinking that too. It's like, oh, you're supposed to be like Ordo Xenos, right? Why do you get to use the Xenos weaponry? It's not as pure as the holy blessed bolts of the bolt rifles, right? It's just a classic, do as I say, not as I do, right? Rules don't apply to me, I'm an Inquisitor. They're like, modern day politicians. Oh! And that's as political as I'm getting on this live stream. While that coat's drying, we're gonna do the dreadlocks, which I'm gonna do in Iron Breaker metallic. BRB. Gotta get my Wind Riders and get my wet pellets set. Already. I'll be here. Iron Breaker metallic paint. By the bolter, melta, and flamer be purged. Ooh, I get to use my new favorite shade paint. Targor Raid Shade. Oh, you know what? I see some skin under there. It's not all metal, so I'm gonna paint that brown real quick. Then go back and paint the metal. It's always easier painting inside out, as they say. There we go. I'm working on my Sanguinary Guard. Ooh, nice. The new models? The new Sanguinary Guard? I think we talked about this before, but you like the new Blood Angels, right? I think they look okay, but I definitely like the aesthetic of the older models better. Like, I don't see the new ones as an improvement. But, like, that's my opinion, you know? To each their own. We did, I do. But I'm adding wings. Ah, yes. Actual wings. Not those little, fat caterpillar from A Bug's Life wings. Yeah, the little wings that they have initially are kind of silly looking. They have to have, like, angelic wings, you know? That's the whole point. That's like my biggest gripe about the new Blood Angels, the Sanguinary Guard. They clipped their awesome, amazing wings. Out of the box, at least. I was nervous that the Spring Hawks were gonna lose their looks like the poor Sanguinary Guard. Ooh, yeah? I don't know, man. Well, we'll have to see. We haven't seen the Swooping Hawks yet, have we? Those haven't been leaked or released. Because you said I was nervous. Alright, Basilicanum Gray is the next contrast paint. Where are you? Black Templar, Black Templar. Basilicum Gray. There you are. Valeric claims not, but time will tell. You know, he's right most of the time. I don't know. He's also kind of like your typical clickbait channel. I do like Valeric though, but kind of take it with a grain of salt. Alright, taking the Basilicum Gray right out of the pot, and we're going to get the boots. And we're going to get these streamers. As well as the wristband. And the other streamers on the staff. Oh, as well as the blindfold. That will also be a simple Basilicum Gray. Alright, now that the skin is dry, I'm going to start lightening it up a little bit. Add some variation in tone here. So I'm going to take some of this Bugman's Glow on my palette and mix it in with the Rhinox Hide. And I'm just going to start layering on some lighter colors on the skin here. Add some definition to the face a little bit. Nothing to the extent of Kyria Draxus' skin. That took a hot minute. You know, we don't got time for that. But I do want to add just a little bit here. Get some depth to the skin tone here. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to get a little bit of Rakarth flesh and mix that in. Ooh, that's really not mixed. Throw that in the mixer for a few seconds here. Time guide. Kind of crazy how big Warhammer blew up. Joined early 9th edition, but I know 8th edition was the start of it. Yeah. I played back in 5th edition 40k and played fantasy battles back then, and I kind of took a break when I went to college and graduated high school. Kind of came back to it in 9th edition after, you know, a little break. Yeah, it has blown up a lot. It is very popular. Which I think is a good and bad thing. But mostly a good thing. You know, it's good that the company is not, like, losing money. You know, they had kind of a scary time in the, I think it was the mid 2000s or so. They almost went bankrupt at one point. But yeah, Warhammer has blown up a ton. So I'm mixing some Rhinox hide with Rakarth flesh. I'm gonna just do a couple little highlights on the skin here. On the hands, holding the staff, a little bit on the arm and these fingers. Trying to get better at painting all skin tones. I usually just paint Caucasians. A lot of my models, but there's a lot of different skin tones that each have their own challenges to master as far as getting the technique down. And I like the way this one looks. Nice dark skin tone. I wonder if Space Marine 2 will bring a lot more people in too. I think so, for sure. We were talking about it last night, but I'm going to use the yellow Oathway decals and do the metallic blend for my Aspect Warriors. Should make them all look traditional but unique. Yes, I think that'll look awesome. For sure. Oh, I'm also going to take the gold I put on the staff, and we're going to get this decorative stripe on the robes. So we have like a gold highlight. Just going to carefully pick that detail out. Okay, just like that. Looking great already. The belt, I'm going to also do in Rhinox hide. Just a nice dark leather belt. And I'm going to go back in with Abaddon Black and just clean up these tubes. I'm going to need another coat of this Balthazar Gold on here, I think, before we go in and do a wash. Just to make sure that it's fully covered. I see what I did there. I screwed that up. It's okay, I'll go back and fix it. Also, the gun holster, the pistol holster, we'll just do in contrast Black Templar. Give that a good shake. Then we're going to come in and do some washes and just a little bit of highlights, and this guy will be done. Set model supposed to be a Psyker or a Navigator. It's an inquisitorial henchman or agent, retinue person, and he has a force stave. This is another one with a force stave. This guy is actually supposed to have a gun, but I mirrored the staff and printed a staff and gave it to him. So these are the Station Forge models that I printed. But yeah, he's supposed to be just like an agent henchman. Yeah, these Station Forge models are really nice. So we got the Black Templar on the gun holster. Just gonna go do some touch up on the metal here, and then we're gonna do some washes. So back to the Belshazzar Gold. Just want to get a nice covering here. This armor piece. This thing almost looks like something a Gene Stealer cult Magos would wear. Which makes sense because they're all like human. At least they all start human. Okay. So we got that. I'm going to do some washes now. We're going to start with my new favorite wash. Targor Rage Shade. It's really nice over metal. Gives you like a nice dirty metal look. It's kind of like Basilicanum Gray over silver, but it's got a little bit of a warmth to it, like a reddish hue, reddish brown hue. Yeah, you'll see. So I'm going to do that over the metal dreadlocks here. So it's like not quite Nuln Oil, it's not quite Agaric's Earthshade, it's not quite Caraborg Crimson. I just really like the way that looks in tints metal. We're going to go over that with the metal here on his staff. You know, I could go over the Balthasar Gold with it. That actually doesn't do too much. It's too similar in tone. So I think I'm just going to wick that away with some water. And I'll hit that with a different tone, like Rakarth Flesh Shade, I think. Alright. Just need this chest to dry, and then we'll get the next shade. I'm gonna hit it with the blow dryer, hair dryer. Okay. Next shade we are using is Rakarth Flesh Shade. This is like a really good one to use over gold or warm metals, as you'll see here. Just really adds a nice warm richness to the gold tone. Because it's some natural, almost like Aztec gold shading. We'll also do the Belshazzar gold armor piece that he's wearing. Boom, just like that. Alright, next I'm going to do a couple edge highlights while we wait for those shades to dry. And then, you know, this guy's going to be pretty much done. Just need to do some highlights on the metallics too once that shade dries. Oh, there's a metallic spot I missed. We're going to do Runelord Brass there on the belt. Just like that. Alright. For the robes, I'm going to highlight that with Evil Sun Scarlet. I'm a new painter, and I'm the slowest painter ever. Do you ever get faster the more you paint? Yes. Yes, you do. 100% you get faster. Yeah, starting off, it's definitely very slow because you're learning brush control and the consistency and flow of the paints and getting just like the, you know, the general basic flow down, getting comfortable with that. But then as you get more comfortable with that, you'll definitely paint a lot faster as you get basically just with as comfortable as you are, because that builds confidence and confidence builds speed. So, but you know, there's still times I slow down a lot because I don't want to mess something up. So it's not always about painting fast, but painting neat. So I'm going to get some Evil Sun Scarlet on my brush. I'm going to do some highlights here on the robes. Kind of pick out the highest parts of the folds here. Just a little bit, nothing too crazy. I think that's all the red robes are really getting as far as highlights go. Just something real simple. Now we're going to do the same on the purple robes. And for those, I think we could do Gene Stealer purple, or we could even go Slaanesh gray. I think I like the Slaanesh gray because it's not as vibrant, but it's a little bit more muted. But it's also nice and light, so we'll try that. I'll try to keep it really subtle because we don't want it to be overpowering here. This paint has not been used in a while. Needs a good shake. A good mix. Alright, so Slaanesh gray. I think this will be a nice highlight color. We'll see how it looks. We'll do a little test spot, and if we don't like it, we'll use something else, but I have a sneaking suspicion this will work out nicely. I've never used this purple contrast paint before, but I like it. It's nice. Alright. Slaanesh gray. Just gonna yeah, I think this will work. It's very light, but that's okay. Just gonna pick out a few lines. The robes I want to emphasize. Following the flow. Go along the edge here. lower edge. These highlights are a little more cartoony, I think. You know, maybe Gene Stealer purple wouldn't be a bad choice. But the Slaanesh Gray also works. This is just a henchman model. Not gonna sweat over it. Not a character. And I think it still looks good, so. Just catching the edge with the edge of my brush. Highlights. It's the easiest way to highlight. A little tricky at first, but once you get that down, off to the races. So you get nice clean highlights. Maybe a glaze of Magos and Shyish purple contrast. Yeah, I don't have either of those. I just have Leviathan purple. What I could do... if I really wanted to, like, fix this... actually, what I could do... I could dial it back with some Druchii Violet Shade. Like if I just shade the highlights a little bit. See how that works. Just to kind of dial them back. I like the way it looks on the front, because I got a little bit more of the zenithal on the front. Back, it's fine. I'm not gonna sweat over it. I need to get the squad done. Can't paint them like a... Can't treat it like a golden demon here. Leviathan purple and contrast medium. That might do it. Just hair drying this one. So our metal shade is done. Then for the metallic on the gold, I like to dry brush a little bit of Canoptic alloy over that gold. Just gonna take a dry brush here. Gotta get that gold glistening happening here. Oh, the shade isn't fully dry. Oops, hit the camera with my head. Shade's not fully dry, but I think that's still okay. Then I'm gonna go in with Runelord Brass with the dry brush and just kind of lighten up the armor a little bit. Or that Belshazzar gold. That's looking good. And because I have the gray on my palette, I'm gonna quickly highlight that bolter or pistol holster with some Dawnstone. Just a little edge highlight here. Down the holster a little bit. There we go. Alright, so this guy is done. I'm just going to do some texture paint on his base. And I think that might be it for this evening. I'm happy we finished Kira. I have 3 more henchmen to go. Maybe I'll pick them up next week, or I'll have something else to paint. Actually, you know, next week is election night, and I have plans. So there will be no live stream next week. Tuesday. But I should be back the following week and expect to be back on my regular Tuesday night schedule. Just with the exception, not next week because it's election night and I have plans. I'll be gone out of the house, so let's continue on. Voted today after work. Was nice to get it done. Yeah, I should probably get it done too before. But a lot of people are early voting, so maybe the lines won't be very long on election day. We'll see. This texture paint I'm using is Vallejo Diorama Earth Texture. Turns out you can get a whole tub of this stuff for $12, $15. This is like enough texture paint for several armies. And it's good stuff. So that's what I'm using for these guys. I do like the Citadel stuff, but I mean, it's expensive and it comes in a small pot, and there are other options. There we go. Oh, the camera really likes the texture paint and not the model I painted. Skip that out of frame. There we go. We have another henchman, Inquisitorial Bodyguard. Have you tried the Vallejo game color? GU by me got a full display of it. I have not. I think I was looking at the other night. I think that I saw Vallejo game color. I went to pick up some of those sponges for my wet palette. Darn politicians take everything from us. Yes. That they do. Alright, well, I am happy with... we got these 2 models painted. One finished and one completed tonight. I'll call this a success. Looks great. Love that gold. Thank you. Yeah. And if you don't have Synaptic Alloy, you can mix like a light silver 50-50 with whatever gold color you did. And that'll give a nice highlight color to dry brush over once you do the wash. Alright, well, I'm gonna leave us with that for tonight. That's all I'm painting for tonight. Like I said, I'll be out next week, Tuesday. But I will be back the following Tuesday on the regular schedule of Tuesday night live streams at 7 p.m. Central Time. Thanks for tuning in and hanging out with me, guys. It's been fun, and I'll have something new to paint next time I am on. Have a lovely week. I'm putting my paints away as I'm talking. Have a lovely week, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks. Bye.